Now, before we get your take and analysis on the Russia-Ukraine situation, and maybe you want to weigh in on China, Taiwan too, as well. That being resurrected in the news, I've seen a few articles that indicated China might make its move in October, the fall time. Here in America, there's a rise in Satanism, Satanist clubs. You know what I mean?
Support my continued work to raise awareness of the genocide that is being carried out in the name of 5G. A small monthly donation goes a long way to helping me raise awareness via YouTube, BitChute, Facebook, Instagram, and elsewhere. You can also support me via Wise, or via a transfer to my nationwide bank account, or via PayPal. Alternatively, I can advertise your business at the beginning of 4 of my videos for £40. To support me using any of these methods, please go to www.5gawareness.com or www.5gawareness.com/contact.
John, for the sake of the listening audience, why don't you let the Tradcat Night listeners who might not be acquainted with your work, especially if they're new, who you are, your work, website, and maybe a little bit in regards to your anti-5G activism off the bat.
Oh, sure. So it's great to connect with everybody. I'm John Kitson. I run my website, 5gawareness.com. And I got involved in 5G after the loss of my mother. She developed a brain tumor, which I believe was caused by her wireless DECT phone. And a lot of people are getting sick now with these 5G towers getting put up. So a few years ago, I started campaigning against 5G, giving talks around the UK with Barry Trower, Mark Steele, who are other heavyweights in the campaign, as well as Ian Crane. And that raising awareness got 12 councils to declare moratoriums, including myself with a group of us in our local council in Totnes. And then I was interviewed by the Daily Mail, which is the UK's #1 national newspaper, most widely read newspaper. And we got an article into that with 11 million views, as well as UKIP. I spoke at the UKIP national conference on 5G. They put it into their manifesto that they would have a halt on 5G. I've got links to Virtual Shield VPN so people can protect their privacy online, TransferWise so you can have accounts in other currencies, because of course we're seeing currencies such as the dollar and the pound being devalued now, so people need to look into their investments. So you can get one of those accounts online, get a free transfer. And also I also sell in bulk these grow boxes to help people grow their own food more effectively and efficiently during this grand solar minimum period. So I'm all about solutions, Eric.
And we were briefly talking off there in China. I saw people rising up and pulling down some towers. Now, do you have any do you know of sort of how long it takes for those evil beings to put up one of them 5G towers? I mean, is it like a process that takes like a week? Is it like a month? Like, how long does it take to construct a 5G tower? Do you know?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's something I'd have to ask Mark about, but I believe they put them up pretty quickly. You know, they have teams working on them. And, of course, they all come under the Official Secrets Act. You know, they can just go out without notice. They can be disguised as trees. And, of course, they're being hidden now in chimneys or these fake chimney covers on top of houses, you know, these smaller towers. And this is not just happening in, you know, the UK, the US, other countries as well. I went to this conference on 5G. There was this Chinese lady explaining how they can disguise them into the landscape, and it's just absolute insanity, Eric. But unfortunately, while there is a great awakening happening, it's not going to be enough to stop Bible prophecy. That's my take on things. And you and I, we know that there are harder times to come, and that having faith is the key right now.
Amen. Faith over fear. Yeah, 5G is just. I did a recent article. I don't know, it was over like the last half year, and I was surprised to see how. I'm not going to say a lot of countries, but there's some countries that are even beyond 5G at this point, like 6G, 7G. I think there was one even country that was even at like 10G at one point. It was some European country. I wanted to say it was like Denmark or Switzerland or something like that. So, I mean, I don't think it stops at 5G. I mean, I think they're going to keep, you know, even Trump was pushing for 6G. Remember that?
That's it.
And a part of his infrastructure bill. So, man, I don't know. But yeah, there's different ways that you can protect yourself, assuredly. Now, John, as a part of your presentation today, we're going to at least work through three different levels here. I think the first you wanted to start off was on the Mexico, on the latest with Mexico and immigration, if I'm not mistaken. Western immigration here. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So yeah, there is a lot of movement from Canada, especially obviously since what's been going on with the people's bank accounts being frozen who are supporting the truckers, and of course people moving from the UK, the US over to Mexico. Now, with Mexico, of course, there's no quarantine necessary, no vaccine, no testing, no health declaration. Basically, they're allowing people in. But of course, one question is, yeah, you can come in, but then what are the restrictions on the native local Mexican population? And the fact is that 90% of them have been vaccinated. In fact, I'm here currently in the San Miguel de Allende area. San Miguel de Allende, interestingly, translates to Archangel Michael. And they have Archangel Michael Cathedral here. So it's a fascinating area. But yeah, I initially came here to do a little bit of 5G research with these 5G pendants, met this doctor. But yeah, in terms of business owners have had to get vaccinated. It's been obligatory for since they locked down to be able to open up. Employees are being vaccinated. Huge numbers of Mexicans have been vaccinated, more so in comparison with the West. When we look at Canada, US, UK, there's more of a sort of suspicion of the vaccines. But a lot of expats are coming here, thinking, okay, they're going to have complete freedom. But the fact is we do have 5G in Mexico City. But it's a slower process here, so it's coming in later. And then digital IDs are coming to Mexico. And what they're going to do with digital ID, and this will happen all over the world, this is the beast system, as you and I have talked about many times being rolled out here, the 5G Satan's beast system, where you will need to log in to be able to access your internet, your crypto. People getting into crypto now, I can understand why, because of what's happening with the sanctions on Russia. Russia has to find a way to trade either with rubles, which of course are going up, or Bitcoin, crypto. But it'll be a temporary window before they bring in this global one world crypto. Right. So, some expats are buying land, looking to rent, so I mean the benefits are prices are cheaper here for property. Food grows all year round. So with the grand solar minimum and the weather, in the Western countries, so Europe, the US, Canada, it's perhaps more challenging to grow food, but it's very warm here. And in San Miguel, it's a little bit more sort of it's cooler weather, but it's warm in the summer and it's cool in the winter, not too cold. So, but the big awake communities here really are Playa del Carmen and San Miguel de Allende, where there are a lot of expats who have left the country basically to connect with other awake expats. So yeah, there are a lot of advantages. You can open a bank account here on a vacation visa, and people are welcome to contact me for advice. We can, do a one-on-one session on advice on how to get here. But my current situation is I'm here for the moment. I have plans to go back to the UK, when possible. Come here to investigate a bit about the 5G, about what's going on here, and also to raise awareness as well about what's happening. But on the other side, there are a lot of Westerners. They've come here. They said, okay, let's create community. I don't see any successful communities being established. I see a lot of talk, but I don't see action, which is why I'm promoting these grow boxes. So, yeah, not just over here, but if people are interested in bulk order, I can get them. But people have to grow food. This is the answer now. But just to add also, Eric, is a lot of people have misconceptions about the ancient culture here, about the ancient tribes. There'll be this fascination with the Aztecs, with the Mayans. But what people don't realize is that there's also this history of cannibalism, right? Of the Spaniards that came in, and the cannibalism, the child sacrifice. Now, local, modern Mexicans, they're largely Catholic, they're largely Christian. A lot of them are believers in Christ. They're good people, they're friendly people. But I think there are a lot of Westerners who come here and they're like, yeah, let's try and connect, or let's look at these native practices. And I attended Acapulco. I didn't pay for one of these VIP tickets. There were good people there. There's some interesting information, but there was this promotion of paganism, of plant medicines, of the traditional sort of Aztec Mayan culture. People getting sucked into this, and of course, when I see it, I'm like, wow, this is satanic, right? This is idol worship.
Now, two levels here. I was hoping maybe you could give us a little bit of insight in regards to what the 5G situation is down there in Mexico. Is it as worse as you thought it might be? That's the first level. The second level is the year that's being thrown around a lot for digital currency is 2023. It's like literally like next year. European Union, Australia, even the digital ruble up there in Russia, I think, as mentioned 2023. It seems like 2023 keeps like popping up. Is Mexico the same, or are they sort of on pace with that, or do you think they'll be one of the last into the game? Like, where do you see Mexico kind of falling in regards to CBDC?
Yeah, well, it's very much a cash society here. A lot of people, generally most of the locals, buying in cash. The expats, it's a bit of a mixture. Some of them are using card, but it's coming in. It's coming in. There was a news article the other day, I think, where there was incentivization going to start here in order. If people use crypto, they can get discounts. And I am seeing QR codes on a lot of the tables here, where you can, to get access to the food menu, you need to scan the QR code, or to set up online banking, you need the QR code. And this QR code, for me, this is what I believe the beast system is going to be about. It's going to be connected with One World Crypto, but I think Mexico is later in the game when it comes to digital ID. But I'm open to the idea that they could flip a global switch. With a smart technology rolling out all over the world, and of course Israel having control of the high technology sector, they could simply flick this, because a lot of this technology is centralized. They could flip the switch. But what we saw the other day is that people in the UK couldn't get access to certain bank accounts. I think it was Lloyd's and some other bank account for 24 hours. So they're going to start, putting these little warning signs, testers out there. So initially people can't access the bank, or bank branches closing, ATMs, because of course it's so convenient. You can do everything online, right? You can use crypto. Of course, they're using this war now and I'm open-minded, I'm 50-50. I'm open to the idea that, sure, this was a plan. We know Albert Pike, the 33rd degree Mason, talked about 3 world wars, that this could be a plan to bring in the digital enslavement system and this one world antichrist system, with this one world leader. Many people are... Go on.
No, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were...
Oh, I was going to say, some people are kicking around the name of Prince Charles, or, they're talking about the Queen now, she's getting sick, or this even Ukrainian leader, Zelensky. But, with the 5G, it's definitely coming in here. There are a lot of phone towers, and there's Wi-Fi mesh, everywhere. There's public Wi-Fi in certain areas. And of course, that's just so destructive on the immune system. There's nowhere. This is the thing, people say, oh, we'll run away to this country or that country. There's going to be nowhere to escape this. And this is why I encourage people now with my recent videos just to look into, the Bible and get into faith, because I think that's where we're at now, but it's going to become more and more important as people know who are getting into the new age, or they're talking about manifestation, that they're not manifesting this new earth. It's the new earth is actually this digital enslavement system that's coming in.
Yeah, terraforming, all that stuff. Father Malachi Martin said the same exact thing too, in regards to nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide to. Yeah. I've got a great minute video on YouTube, him discussing that, especially on the chastisement level with all the earth changes that are happening. As a matter of fact, yesterday, not sure if you saw this one, but the super volcano in Europe now, scientists are indicating they think it might be awakening. They just had a 4.0 earthquake, and there's something like 2.2 million people in and around the Naples area there in Italy. So that's sort of like, Europe's Yellowstone, basically. So, man, if that thing went off, we all have serious problems, not just Europe. Now, before we get your take and analysis on the Russia-Ukraine situation, and maybe you want to weigh in on China, Taiwan too as well, that being resurrected in the news. I've seen a few articles that indicated China might make its move in October, the fall time. Then, of course, you got the goober over there in North Korea. Has been firing off ICBM test missiles. He's saying he's going to test a nuclear warhead here soon. Wouldn't put it past him. I think the last time they did that was, I don't know, about 5 years or so ago, give or take. Before we get into that, though, here in America, there's a rise in Satanism, Satanist clubs. You know what I mean? Wow. Luciferianism, and I didn't even know what we were talking about now, John. Get me back on track here.
Oh no, sure. You were talking about the rise of Satanism,
yeah,
and this sort of, the Antichrist and this sort of spiritual deception coming in, and it kind of ties into, what I was mentioning to you about cults. Because, of course, in the book of Matthew, it warns, that in the latter days there will be deceivers, and this is what I see happening. I see, okay, there's this division with COVID, but now, of course, those people coming along with the solution, even people in the truth movement, and you won't hear anything about God or Christ, but it's all about you, the power. You are God or you are gods, right? And of course, the Bible warns about this, prophecy warns about this, that people will see themselves as gods in the latter days without concern for others, self-love. And I came across a cult here in Mexico. I'm not going to say the name of the person involved, but it was run by a doctor. And there are several cult signs that you can look out for, and it's when, for example, the zealous, unquestioning commitment to the leaders, the belief system. So, for example, with this, it's all about unconditional love for yourself, and it sounds great, doesn't it? You put yourself first and foremost, unconditional love, one law. But of course, life is more complicated than that. There's moral, there's ethical responsibility. What if I had a family member and they're sick and I said, well, I'm just going to love myself and to hell with you, That's not how life works. But that's one, another warning sign. I could go through 1 to 10 here is questioning, doubt, and dissent. So any questioning of the official narrative is maybe mocked or undermined. Without leadership undertaking self-evaluation. And what we're seeing with the lockdowns is people will come forward with solutions and say, hey, I've got this community, like you had Jonestown where everybody took the potion and they all died, hey, I've got this community, we're awake, we're going to save you, come to us and you'll be looked after and you just have to pay this much money or do this or that. And of course you'll be running around and it'll become like a cult. And other one is mind-altering practices. So cults will use things like meditation or singing to put you into an altered state so that doubts about the group will be suppressed. Or you'll be told that you are not yourself. Your subconscious was manipulated. And this is what was happening in this group, actually located in Western Mexico around the Ixtapa region. And then control of thinking, leadership dictating how members should think, feel, control relationships, distance yourself from family members because, of course, they're toxic and it's all about you. Us versus them mentality, that's another sign. And people can get sucked in over time, and especially women, I see, because of course they play on the emotions, and women are more influenced by the emotions. Some women are not sucked in, but you'll tend to see that there's maybe like an 80%, 90% participation of women. And the in this particular cult, the leader was railing against men. Men are responsible for all this and that and that. And of course, that draws in the women more. Oh my gosh, yeah, I've got to realize that. And, they were self-declared feminist. And, they did a recent video on International Women's Day. But then, of course, when you look into the history of International Women's Day, and I've got a video on that on my YouTube channel, you can scroll down through my YouTube channel, 5G Awareness. It was actually a communist plot to overthrow the monarchy and bring in communism in Russia. And then, of course, it spread only throughout the communist countries. So, things like shame and guilt, and then no life outside the group. So a lot of your time is taken up in the cult, because otherwise, you might start to question things going on in the cult. But yeah, in this group, I saw people being charged a lot of money to use machines that, you'd be told it would deal with cancer. And we know that things like THC oil, CBD oil, MMS, there are a lot of cheap treatments that can be used. Diet, you don't need to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for, on a session for a treatment on a machine. And I saw people, this elderly lady, she was in 4th stage cancer, having this treatment, and she wasn't getting better. Actually, it was making her worse. And I joined a few of these sessions at this group because I was curious. I thought, what are they about? Maybe they're doing some good. And I think sometimes you have to do some investigation. But at the end of the day, and another thing is the cult leader would often rail against Christians, religion. And this is another thing that I see. And of course, we know that obviously there's been infiltration. You and I, we've talked about it in the religious institutions, been this infiltration we've seen with, all the serpent, the idol worship that's come in. But, when you see someone put themselves forward as a deity, and this individual was saying, God works for me and I work for you. I mean, wow, how boastful. God works for you. And of course, saying that sinning is just missing the mark and that it's fine to just go on sinning, we know that there's a problem here. And of course, when you have faith, that gives you discernment. And I actually have a T-shirt, Eric. It's the wording on it is grateful, and the T is a cross, because I'm grateful for Jesus, or his original name Yeshua in the Hebrew, for the sacrifice that he gave, for us, to cleanse us of our sins, And of course, that triggered him, and that caused a sort of knocking of heads, So yeah, but it's interesting how your faith, every time it can protect you. I've had times where I've been under spiritual attack. Psalm 91 is a good one to go to in the Bible. I remember I read that one on your show a while back. But the Bible, eventually it could be illegal. It once was hundreds of years ago. So folks, if you don't have a Bible, get yourself a Bible, seriously, and just start praying, because it can move mountains.
Good stuff, buddy. We're just about out of time here. We'll give you the last minute here for some shameless self-promotion, but we got some breaking news. Back-to-back powerful earthquakes being registered in the Loyalty Islands in New Caledonia. New Caledonia is no stranger really to quakes, but this is the largest I've seen in that area along the Pacific. Or what is that thing called? The Ring of Fire, excuse me. But
right.
Out in the Pacific. So
have I briefly got a moment to mention about Russia before I do my last minute pitch?
We got. Let's just like a minute or two, because I got to get.
That's fine. Yeah. So I just want to say to people, if you can, try and get hold of, maybe invest in the ruble a little bit. We're being lied to about the Russia-Ukraine situation on a massive scale. We've seen NATO expansion when they promised back in 1991 they wouldn't. And of course, there's been mass murder in the Donbass region in eastern Ukraine of Russian-speaking population. So I believe, Putin could be part of this greater reset. We don't know. But I know that he is going in there, and a lot of lies being told by the Western media, a lot of Ukrainians being murdered by their own government, that are being supported by the Ukrainian government, Zelensky, who's a complete psychopath, plus the billions of dollars that are being channeled his way from the United States and Europe. So I just wanted to give my perspective on that for my viewers. That I do have a lot of sympathy for Russians right now, because a lot of them can't open bank accounts now. They're struggling. I know a number of them here in Mexico. But yeah, we need to give them our sympathy and support, But war is always complicated. And yeah, I believe, with humility, we can learn a lot more. But I'll mention where people... Go on.
No, good stuff. Yeah, we got 60 seconds left. Let's
okay. So I was just going to quickly mention 5gawareness.com to get in touch with me, to contact me if you've got any questions about Mexico. We can set up an appointment. Also, if you want to order grow boxes in bulk, say 50 or whatever, you want to do some rooftop gardening, or you've got friends you want to band together, I can help you to grow more food, increase your yields. virtual VPN, Virtual Shield. You can get a discount through my site or TransferWise as well. So get in touch with me through 5gawareness.com, 5G Awareness on YouTube, or BitChute /channel BitChute.com/channel /5G Awareness.
Good stuff, buddy. Look for John at the end of next month. We got to get ready now for XFed Tommy C joining the show. We're going to talk Francis consecration, as I put it, inner city war zones, developing, prepping, and so much more. Until next time, my good friends, stay safe and God bless.